Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. You guys sent in a really fascinating video about mental health
Oh, yeah.
from the Anna Freud YouTube channel,
Hmm.
and I am so excited to unpack this with you all and with our expert here.
I'm happy to be here. I think it's really great to see more resources like this tackling such important
Oh, absolutely.
and often misunderstood
Yeah.
topics
Yeah.
and, just making them accessible to everyone.
Totally. Yeah, I think this video does a great job of that by diving into like what mental health is
Uh-huh.
and, how we actually experience it in our lives and how we can actually
Yeah.
prioritize it.
Right.
But, it starts by addressing something that I think we've all felt, and that's that pressure to appear perfect,
Yeah.
especially online.
Mm-hmm.
The
The highlight reel
whole highlight reel versus like,
versus reality thing.
absolutely. And, it really kind of taps into this
Yes.
fear of vulnerability,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to mental health.
Yeah. I think, it's a tricky combination of societal expectations,
Right.
fear of judgment,
Mhm.
and even a lack of understanding
Yeah.
around mental health itself.
And that fear of judgment thing really resonates with me.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we're almost conditioned to only
Yeah.
showcase the positive, never really admitting when we're struggling.
Right.
But I think this video does a fantastic job of normalizing those ups and downs.
It does.
Yeah.
And it uses such a clever analogy, I think, like physical health.
Uh,
We understand getting physically sick, right?
yeah.
So mental health is similar.
I love that comparison because it really
Yeah.
makes you realize that just like we take care of our physical bodies, we got to take care of our minds too.
Exactly.
It kind of like takes away the stigma, It makes it seem like mental health care is just as natural as like going for a checkup.
Exactly. And it reinforces the idea that mental health isn't about being happy
Right.
all the time. Yeah, yeah.
It's about understanding and navigating
Yeah.
our entire emotional spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
the good, the bad,
Yes.
and everything in between.
And I think the video does a good job of reminding us that,
Yeah.
those so-called negative emotions
Yeah.
are completely normal.
Completely
It's
normal.
like what we do with them.
do with them that matters.
That matters.
Right.
Which brings us to, I think, the heart of this video.
Okay.
We meet a student who is battling some really intense negative feelings.
Okay.
And they describe it
Yeah.
like a river turning into a waterfall.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's powerful imagery.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that feeling of being completely overwhelmed.
What struck me was that it really highlights how isolating
Uh-huh.
it can feel when you're dealing with mental health challenges.
Right.
It's easy to feel alone in those moments.
Absolutely. And this is where the video emphasizes something so important, but often so difficult,
Mhm.
talking to someone you
Yeah.
trust.
Oh, I love that.
Even though it can feel incredibly hard to open up,
Right.
it can be a lifeline.
It's so true. And it doesn't even have to be
It doesn't
this big revealing conversation.
Right.
Sometimes just having someone listen without judgment can make a world of difference.
Exactly.
Just knowing you're not alone.
It's like that pressure valve releasing.
Now, the video goes on to emphasize something I thought was really insightful.
Okay.
It suggests that seeking help for your mental health should be as normal as
Mhm.
seeking help for like a physical ailment.
Right.
And I found that kind of revolutionary, actually.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it,
Oh.
we don't hesitate to see a doctor if we have a broken leg.
Right. Exactly.
So why should mental health be any different?
Right.
And so the video encourages us to reach out to friends, family, teachers,
Yeah.
other trusted adults.
Mm.
And it also highlights the importance of finding healthy coping mechanisms.
Like exercise,
yes.
creative activities,
Yeah.
or even just spending time with loved ones.
Absolutely.
Anything that helps you navigate those rough waters.
Exactly.
Thanks.
It's about equipping ourselves with the tools
Yeah.
to manage these emotions and challenges.
I love that.
Just like we learn first aid for physical injuries,
Oh, that's good.
we can learn emotional first aid for our mental well-being.
And this leads to, I think, like the central message of this whole video,
Okay.
which is that we all have mental health.
Mhm.
It's part of who we are.
Right.
And, taking care of it is crucial.
Absolutely.
And this resonates so deeply with me because I think we've all experienced those moments of,
Yeah.
feeling overwhelmed, feeling lost.
Uh-huh.
And I think this is a powerful reminder that we're not alone.
We are not alone.
Yeah, and that's what makes this video so valuable, right?
Yeah.
It validates these experiences and emphasizes that
Mhm.
it's okay to not be okay,
It's okay to not be okay.
and that seeking support is a sign of strength, not weakness.
It is.
And that leads perfectly into the next point the video tackles, which we'll dive into after a quick break.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be right back.
Okay.
After this. Yeah.
All right. You know, one thing that really resonated with me was how the video tackled this misconception that good mental health equals constant happiness.
Yeah,
You know,
totally get that.
Like, we're bombarded with these images of people
Right.
living these seemingly perfect, tear-free lives.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes us feel like if we're not grinning ear to ear all the time, something's wrong.
Exactly.
And it's just so refreshing that the video tackles this head on.
Yeah.
You know, the student's story with, you know, their worries about school and upcoming tests is a perfect example of this.
Right.
They describe feeling overwhelmed, like their thoughts are a rushing river turning into a waterfall.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a
vivid imagery.
Yeah,
Right.
an incredibly relatable experience for many of us.
But it also kind of makes me wonder, like, how do we differentiate between those, like, everyday anxieties and something more serious?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And the video actually does a good job of addressing this.
Okay.
It explains that while it's perfectly normal to experience a range of emotions, including negative ones, sometimes these feelings can become
That's okay.
so intense and persistent that they start impacting our daily lives,
Right.
and they can affect our thoughts, our behaviors,
Oh.
our ability to function.
So it's not just about the intensity of the emotions, but also their duration and how they're impacting your well-being.
Exactly.
Oh.
And this is where seeking help becomes so crucial. It's like noticing a persistent ache or pain in your body.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just ignore it and hope it goes away on its own right. The video encourages us to take that same approach with our mental health.
Right.
If those overwhelming feelings are lingering and affecting your ability to cope,
Right.
reaching out to a trusted adult, like the student did with their head of year,
Okay.
can be a huge step.
It's interesting because the video also acknowledges that sometimes
Yes.
these intense feelings can just arise out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
like without a clear trigger.
And that's a critical point because it challenges this common misconception that mental health challenges always stem from external factors or traumatic experiences.
Right.
Sometimes there may not be an obvious reason, and that's perfectly okay.
Right.
It's about recognizing those feelings
Well,
and taking steps to manage them,
okay.
regardless of their origin.
It reminds me of something the head of year said in the video.
Okay.
It was just as we wouldn't hesitate to seek help for a physical illness.
Right.
We should do the same for our mental health.
I think that's such a powerful message.
Yes.
It normalizes seeking support for mental health, encouraging us to prioritize our overall well-being.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it really highlights that taking care of our mental health is just as important as taking care of our physical health.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
The video also emphasizes the importance of developing healthy coping mechanisms to navigate these challenging emotions.
Yeah, like building a toolkit for your mental well-being.
I love that analogy.
Right.
Yeah.
And the video offers some practical examples.
That's it.
Like exercise, getting involved in creative activities, spending time with loved ones, or even just taking a break to watch a movie and unwind.
Exactly. It's about finding those activities that bring you joy, offer a sense of calm, or provide a healthy distraction from those overwhelming thoughts and feelings.
Just like the student in the video
Yeah.
who finds solace in a hot chocolate and a movie marathon.
Right.
I mean, that's so relatable.
It is.
You know, just a good reminder that self-care and prioritizing those activities that make us feel good are essential parts of managing our mental health.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And along with those personal coping strategies, the video also highlights the incredible importance of having a support system.
Okay.
Friends, family, teachers, mentors.
Right.
These individuals can provide a listening ear, offer encouragement, and help you navigate those tough times.
And sometimes it's not even about like offering solutions or advice.
No, it's not.
Right. Sometimes it's just being there to listen
Yeah.
without judgment.
Without judgment.
That can make a world of difference.
Exactly.
It's that feeling of knowing you're not alone that someone cares.
That someone cares.
And I think the video takes it a step further.
It does.
By encouraging viewers to be proactive in supporting their friends who might be struggling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like just listening
without
pressure or judgment can be incredibly validating for someone going through a difficult time.
Right. It's all about fostering that sense of connection.
Exactly.
And letting those around us know that they're not alone in their struggles.
I love how the video uses the student's story to illustrate these points. It makes the information so much more relatable.
It does.
And shows how these concepts can play out in real life.
Exactly.
Totally. And I think it's so powerful how the video also normalizes seeking help from like professionals,
Absolutely.
like a counselor
or
a therapist.
It emphasizes that there are trained professionals out there who can offer support, guidance, and evidence-based therapies to help manage mental health challenges.
It's like acknowledging that you don't have to navigate these difficulties on your own.
No, you don't.
There are resources available to help you on your journey toward mental well-being.
And the video ends with a really powerful call to action.
Okay.
Urging viewers to learn more about mental health. And most importantly, talk about it openly.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's such a crucial point.
It is.
Like breaking down the stigma surrounding mental health.
Right.
Starts with these open and honest conversations.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's about normalizing these discussions and recognizing that mental health is something we all have and we need care for.
We do.
And it's,
It's like anything else. The more we understand something, the less scary and intimidating it becomes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Open dialogue fosters empathy, understanding a more supportive environment.
Right.
It allows us to learn from each other's experiences and support one another more effectively.
And that leads us to another point I think the video subtly makes.
Okay.
Which I think is worth exploring further. It's like we see with Andre in the video. He starts withdrawing from his friends and isolating himself.
Right. Yeah, that's such a common response, I think, when people are struggling.
Yeah.
It's almost like a self-protective mechanism. But as you said, it can often lead to greater isolation.
Yeah.
Which can actually exacerbate the problem.
It's a vicious cycle.
It is.
And I think that's where the video's emphasis on support becomes so crucial.
Yes.
It encourages us to really pay attention to the people in our lives, notice changes in their behavior, and reach out if we sense something is wrong.
Be proactive and show that we care.
Yeah.
Like Sasha did.
Exactly.
When she noticed Andre wasn't acting like himself.
Yeah, and sometimes I think it's not even about offering solutions or advice, right? Sometimes it's just acknowledging that you've noticed a change.
Yeah.
And that can be the opening that someone needs to start talking.
Absolutely.
About what's going on.
Just create that safe space for someone to open up.
Exactly.
Even if they're not ready to share everything.
And I think the video also subtly highlights the fact that there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
For sure.
When it comes to mental health.
Absolutely not.
Everyone's experience is unique.
Everyone's experience is unique, and what works for one person may not work for another, and that's okay.
Yeah.
The key is to find what helps you manage your individual challenges and build a personalized toolkit of coping strategies.
It's like in the video when the student tries some of Sasha's coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
But they don't resonate with her.
Right. It just reinforces that it's a journey of exploration and experimentation.
Exactly.
And the video, thankfully, offers a range of strategies.
Yes.
Exercise, creative outlets, spending time in nature, connecting with loved ones, seeking professional help.
It's about figuring out what works best for you.
Yeah.
This deep dive has really brought home that message of it's okay to not be okay.
It's okay to not be okay.
And seeking help is not a sign of weakness.
It's not.
But a sign of strength and self-awareness.
It is a sign of strength and self-awareness.
It's about taking ownership of your mental well-being.
Absolutely.
And actively seeking the support that you need to thrive.
Yes. And the more we talk openly about mental health, the more we normalize these conversations and break down the stigma surrounding it.
It's about creating a world where everyone feels comfortable seeking help and support without fear of judgment.
Yes, I love that.
This deep dive has given us so much to think about. Practical tips, thought-provoking insights, and most importantly, a sense of hope.
I agree. And this video and our conversation today, I think, serve as a powerful reminder that we're not alone in this journey.
Right.
There are resources, strategies.
And people who care and want to help.
I think that's a perfect takeaway for our listeners. You are not alone.
You are not alone.
There are people who understand and want to support you.
Absolutely.
And remember, even small steps towards prioritizing your mental health can make a huge difference.
Couldn't agree more.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something I want you all to ponder.
Okay.
The video focuses on individual experiences.
Right.
But I think it begs the question, what role does society play in shaping our mental well-being?
That's a great question.
And how can we collectively create communities
Yeah.
that are more supportive and understanding of mental health challenges?
That is the question.
That's something for all of us to consider as we continue to explore this crucial topic.
I agree.